Hi, my name's Rowan Jang. I am a board member of the ANZA Club, and I've been on the board of directors of ANZA Club for 7 years. My first memory of the ANZA Club was when I came here younger than I should have done, actually. I was about 12 years old at the time. It was actually for a wake. A friend's brother had passed away, and of course I was 12, so I don't remember it that well. But flash forward to when I'm 24, and I came looking for a place to have some parties and some workshops. I worked in the film industry, and the company I was working with did all sorts of live events, so I was looking for a venue, and I walked into this space that we're in now, and I started to get all these weird flashbacks. And I thought, well, I've been here before. Where have I been here before? And it took a few weeks of me coming here before I clued in. Oh, I came here as a kid. That's why. So there was always almost a kind of spiritual element, almost destiny of me returning to the ANZA Club. In very short order, I became a member of the board of directors. Not intentionally. I attended the AGM, which was about 2 months after I signed up for my membership. And one of our regulars, who we lovingly refer to as Day Off Dave, nominated me to the board just because I asked a single question. And my question was, I think, well, what are the responsibilities of a board member? I thought I was just being a good member and trying to determine what my responsibilities were. But he was like, no, I nominate you to the board. And well, 7 years later, here I am. It's community. That's what's most wonderful about the ANZA Club. It's a place where people of all different backgrounds and all different ages too, which you don't see in every social club in the city, but this is a place of all different ages and backgrounds. We come together and we connect over a concert, over a game of pool, over a play, and over a drink or two, or sometimes a few more than two, and we just get to know each other's stories. It's so important to have community spaces like this throughout the city, and the ANZA Club is one of the best. Can I tell you about the history of this place? Well, yes, I can. This building was first built in 1914 as the Mount Pleasant Gospel Hall, and it was the Gospel Hall for quite a few decades after that. The ANZA Club was started in 1935, and it was started when a group of Australian and New Zealander businessmen living in Vancouver decided to make a social club. The purpose was originally for visitors from down under, Australia and New Zealand, in Vancouver to meet and connect with each other. Expats, essentially, for them. Originally, the group was meeting in places like the Hotel Georgia, and then they moved to the HMCS Discovery, which is just off of Stanley Park. And they started at the Discovery hosting dance socials. And before long, the attendance was overflowing. And they realized we're gonna need to find our own space because these events are just becoming too popular. So in 1961, they started a clubhouse fund searching for a venue. And they found this in 1969. And the down payment to purchase this property was $5,000, which is, today hard to imagine. But yeah, in April of 1969, the ANZA Club co-signed the mortgage on this place, and they've been here ever since. One of the interesting things about the first early years of the ANZA Club in here is that initially we did not have a liquor license. We had no liquor license, and back then there was no internet, so the process to get a liquor license took a long time. So at first we actually started trying to do the club without any liquor license at all, which we got away with for a little bit, but then after a few conversations with the authorities, we realized we should probably get one. But even that process took a further 2 years to complete. So what we had to do during that time is we had to go to the liquor board office and fill out the paperwork to get the permit just for the day. And we would have to get all of our quantities right, exactly the amount of alcohol we were purchasing for that day, then take it to the liquor store and get just that exact amount filled out and then bring it back here. And we had to do that for 2 years. So it was a bit of an arduous process to get the liquor license. But once we got it, we kicked off. In the 70s and 80s, that was probably the most popular time for the ANZA Club. Back then, if you didn't show up by 7:30 p.m., you weren't getting in. We had lineups down the block, and so many great things we've had here over the years. We've had darts leagues. We had a softball team for a while. We've had concerts, plays. We were one of the earlier venues that was friendly to LGBTQ plus communities. We had drag shows here long before that was the social norm. So we've always had very diverse elements and diverse backgrounds here at ANZA. So why did we want to be part of Places That Matter? Well, I mean, Vancouver Heritage Foundation, the work they do, it's so extraordinary. Recognizing our history, where we come from, and most importantly, our stories. History is not just armed conflicts, trade deals, big world events. History is the history of the communities that exist within our cities and our provinces, our countries. We've had so much history here, so many stories we wanted to share, so many stories we wanted to have told and shared with the city, basically. And I think that the Vancouver Heritage Foundation's Places That Matter program we have it right here. Such a wonderful blessing, and we're so thankful to them and for the City of Vancouver for their support. We recognize that our location and every event we've ever had here takes place on the traditional unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and the Tsleil-Waututh Nations. We're thankful to them, and we're thankful to all of you who are engaging with Places That Matter and the Vancouver Heritage Foundation's website and programs.
Being part of the club for many years, and back in '86, responsible for buying the building and signing the mortgage and all that sort of stuff. So 69 is when we bought. Yeah, so it's very nice and very honorable to be here, and been waiting for this day. It's been a long time coming, but it's an old building, and we've done a lot of work in the place, and and I think it's withstood a lot of stuff. Used to be an old church many years ago, and it's got a baptism font up on the stage, which is good.
And then it was an ex-servicemen's club.
The British ex-servicemen's club before we took over. It is absolutely fantastic.
Vancouver in those days was a village, really.
There's a lot of stuff that we had done starting the club. Before we had this, we had to go and do a lot of fundraisings in different halls and keep the members together. Then we started up the group flights, and we did a lot of stuff, and had special functions, and we had Christmas parties for the members, Christmas for the children, stockings for the children, Christmas trees for everybody. We all got dressed up. We had big anniversaries and big balls, and it was absolutely fantastic. Everybody dressed up. Qantas flew in a lot of good foods in from Australia, and it was fantastic. Everybody wore their tux and ties and big bow ties and everything, so it was very good back then. That's when everybody got dressed up.
Hello, my name is Jesse Gate. I am the vice president of the ANZA Club. I've been coming here for just under 10 years. I walked in these doors and I just immediately fell in love with this club. Felt like home. I loved playing pool and I got to know the membership here, and eventually I joined the board of this club because I loved it so much. We're standing here right in front of this table of photographs. My friend Travis here, he's also on the board. We are on the history committee here, and so we're displaying some of the the amazing scenes from our club's past. Would you like to?
Sure. My name is Travis Neal. I've been a member here since about 8 years. Very similar to Jesse. Came in to play pool, and such a great community that has kept me coming back. I joined the board after about 2 years, and I love supporting this place and seeing the community that builds around this place.
So as board members, we decided to set up a history committee, and that has involved us, looking into this, the history of this club and going down to the archives and just trying to find any kind of artifacts that we can find from our club's history, because there's a lot of mystery about it. We don't know a lot of things about our club, and every day we learn something kind of new and interesting about the place. Like as in tonight, we got to meet one of our early presidents, or not early, but from the late 60s, and he just told me all kinds of interesting things about this place.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
What do you...
Well, I love, part of the history is, we did start in the 30s. It was mostly Australian and New Zealanders to, get some cheap flights back home. I know we bought this club in the late 60s. It used to be a church, and I found it interesting. I was here one night, and there was a couple who came in, and they wanted to tour the building because they got married here when it was a church. So it was really cool for them to come in, and it's like, wow, this is where we actually got married when it was a church, which was before maybe 68, 65.
Yeah, 1968.
68, yeah.
Yeah, and the president that we just met tonight actually was involved in purchasing this building, and it was just before it was a church. I just discovered this. It was the British Ex-Servicemen's Club, and I didn't actually know that.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah. And I also learned some things about how right across the street it was the CSIS building.
It was, yeah.
And so a lot of the CSIS employees would come in here and have drinks. So it's kind of a place where spies would meet, which is, this is pretty interesting, right? I've always wondered about the history of, our club and CSIS across the street.
Yeah. Nice.
I'm Christine Hagemolen, and I've written a book about Mount Pleasant and Mount Pleasant walking tour, historical walking tour. So this is the book, and in 2023 it won a Heritage Vancouver Award. I also do in-person walking tours, and my spring tours are coming up in April and May. So hope you join me.
I'm Nick. This is Strange Fellows Brewing Company. We just turned 10 years old in December. Longtime friends with the good people at the ANZA Club, and we are serving up some samples this evening. That's Talisman. That's our West Coast Pale Ale. A really crushable, delicious pale ale. 4%. Really, probably one of my all-time favorite beers. Really, really drinkable. We have our Beldam Pilsner, a really delicious German-style Old World Pilsner. And then we're really excited to have a couple of our non-alc beers here tonight. This is our new Pilsner, non-alcoholic, 0.5%. All the great qualities that you look for in a Pilsner, but no alcohol, which is lovely. And we also have our Hazy Pale Ale and Hazy IPA and our Pale Ale, also non-alcoholic, 0.5%. Really delicious. All the great things about a beer without the alcohol.
Hi, I'm Aaron Chapman. I'm a Vancouver historian and author of a number of books about the history of the city. And this place, the ANZA Club, number 95 on the Places That Matter list that the Vancouver Heritage Foundation has. I've played this place many times. I've seen shows at this place many times. And this is, when I think about it, this goes back to the 90s with me. I probably played this place under maybe 4 or 5 different bands, the Real Mackenzies, the Town Pants, the Hard Rock Miners, the Mahones. There's probably 1 or 2 that I forgot in that. And this place, of course, has for people of my vintage in Vancouver, everybody knows it as a place where independent music and whatnot happen, and lots of punk shows, lots of rock and roll shows, lots of folk punk shows happen and whatnot that I played. But what's sometimes lost in the sort of the geography of that statement is that this was a place that was always easy to get into to play. There are some venues in town that are a little bit complex. There's a booking agent and there's management, or there's some, maybe they're too big for an opening, sort of band kind of starting out or within its first year or 2 of getting known in town. It was always easy to kind of get a booking here, or even better, as in the case of what my old band, the Town Pants, did. And around 2004, 2005, we rented the room to play on New Year's Eve that year. And we ran the bar ourselves, and we sold tickets, and it was you can't really do that in a lot of clubs in Vancouver. This place you could. It's a great night, sold out. We were beat by the end of the day because we had kind of decorated the room, and of course we played. And as much as we have a designated driver, we didn't have a designated thinker that night, because at the end of the night, we all went home, and I heard from one of the guys, hey, did you take the cash box? Did you take the box office that night? And I go, no, I thought you had it. And suddenly we all thought, oh God, we left the money at the club. I put the phone down, and as soon as I put the phone down, my bandmate had put the phone down and realized, wait a minute, I didn't leave it in the club. I left it on top of the car when we drove away. Oh no, he rushes out to the car out in the street. It's not there. Him and his brother jump in the car and drive back, retracing their steps from North Vancouver, looking on the street to see where a box of $5,000 or $6,000 worth of cash is sitting there. We find it right out front of the ANZA Club. It just fell off the roof when we drove away at that time. Now, if you were to play the Commodore Ballroom downtown, if you were to play the Orpheum, if you were to play any such place anywhere in the city, I can guarantee you, if you drove away and the cash box had fallen somewhere out the street, you would have not. But here in the lovely area of Mount Pleasant, yes, the nice people here probably were safe in bed by that hour anyway, and it wasn't discovered, and we found it, and that's the good luck that the ANZA Club has. So that's my little story on ANZA Club. So many great shows here over the past, great meeting place. The fact that it's still here after all these years, hey, it's good news. Thanks.
Welcome everyone. My name is Rowan. I am the guy with the mic right now. But before we go any further, I want to ask some questions here. Who here is a member of the ANZA Club? All right, okay. Good showing. Great. Who here has hosted or attended an event in this hall before? Okay, good. And most importantly, who is here because of the Vancouver Heritage Foundation? Yeah. Welcome. History is not just hockey games. It's not just, although that is important, the hockey games that are important. And it's not just nations and trade deals. History is the spaces where people of all different backgrounds, identities, and beliefs come together and connect with each other over shared experiences, shared stories, and a drink or 2 or 5. So, my friends, we are so honored by the Vancouver Heritage Foundation, including us in this program, the 95th Heritage Plaque. We thank them. We thank the City of Vancouver for their support. We're honored to have representing Vancouver City Council tonight, a very important guest. Everyone please give a warm welcome to the Deputy Mayor of Vancouver, Councillor Sarah Kirby-Young.
I do want to start by acknowledging we are on the traditional unceded territories of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh, and I think that that's important. I know the Vancouver Heritage Foundation has long been celebrating the legacy and the history of our built form in the city of Vancouver, and recently Council was really pleased to work in partnership and add to that definition of heritage by recognizing that heritage is more about just the built form, but it's also about the intangible heritage, the cultures, the sounds, the language, but also very importantly recognizing Indigenous peoples on the land. So It is great to be here, and I gotta say this building is looking pretty fantastic for 1935?
14 is when it was built.
1914. 1914, so it's looking pretty great. It's Vancouver Heritage Week, and so I know that this is part of a lineup of events. I had the pleasure 2 nights ago, Laura and Jessica, I think we were at the University Women's Club, and we had a storytelling evening, and clearly there's a lot of storytellers in the crowd, as we saw from Rowan. The ability to have places like this is really important, and nestled in the heart of Mount Pleasant, which originally was on the streetcar line. It's where a lot of families and workers came to be and set down roots, and it's become, I think, really a thriving mecca for arts and culture right here in the city. And so to have these spaces as our city continues to evolve and grow and diversify, and the stability of being here and still providing those places is really, really important. And so this is, I think, the third amazing venue I've been in this week. I was at, as I mentioned, the University Women's Club. Last night I was at Guilt & Co. Has anybody been down to Guilt & Co. as well? Yeah. Because the Just for Laughs Festival is going on, and so that's another great venue. And so I think we're so fortunate and so lucky to have them. I'm very happy to be here on behalf of Mayor and Council. It really is an honor to present the 95th Places That Matter plaque tonight. Yeah, 95, and still going. So testament to that. Thanks for the opportunity to be here and celebrate this moment. Hats off to the team and everybody that put all the work and heart into this, and thank you for keeping these places going so that we can all come and enjoy them. And so let's do the plaque presentation and hear from the others, and then we'll get to hear 4 fantastic live musical acts. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Please give the warmest welcome to Jessica Kwan.
Okay, I really need to have my notes, so I'm not going to be as good a speaker as the rest of them, but thank you so much to Deputy Mayor Kirby Young for the city's support and remarks. Thank you to Rowan, Nahani, and Colleen, and the ANZA board and community for becoming the newest official site of the Places That Matter PTM project. I'm here today with VHF staff team, volunteer board directors, and PTM committee representatives. They're all over there, wave. We also have some volunteer photographers and videographers who are donating their time. They're always part of the team, and also our speaker, John. So now with ANZA Club added to the project, we're excited to connect the different experiences, timelines, stories, and knowledge this place offers, and to let everyone know who has passed through this building or neighborhood that your stories matter, and that the accompanying Places That Matter Community History Resource website is where you can submit a memory, a photo, or quote at any time in the future. And I also discovered that my aunt grew up around the corner, and Christine's Nana also grew up there too, so we're actually neighbors from a different time period, literally in this neighborhood. So, you know, there's always something to discover about your own history. So thank you again to the ANZA Club, and now I will pass it on over to John Atkin. Come over here, come down. The Places That Matter's original committee member, and one of our longest continuous supporters of this project, to speak to some of the historic context of where we are today.
So it's so much fun to be in a place like this because I was thinking about the community, and I was thinking about the ask of, hey, a little bit of potted history here, and I was thinking all the way back to why we're here. So Main Street was mentioned as a streetcar street, but in fact, Main Street is one of the very original and long-lasting Indigenous trails in this area. And when we look back at early maps, we never bothered to capture those Indigenous trails, but certain settlers, well, if there's a trail through the forest, we might as well make it a road. So Main Street is in fact the trail that came from the village of Kumkumale on Burrard Inlet across the narrow point of False Creek between the east and west basins, up the hill, and then that met the trail that took them out to the Fraser River, which we call Kingsway today. And so on the other side, near Cambie Street, we actually have very important fishing areas. And so False Creek was an incredibly productive waterway, and the creeks that came down the slopes from the bogs up around 16th, 18th Avenues. We have Brewery Creek on the far side of Main Street. It's been honored in terms of monuments and various things, and the route has been traced. But there are other creeks running down towards the Cambie Street Bridge on a diagonal through the area, which are also gathering places, because wherever you have a bog, you have food plants, you have medicinal plants. And so the indigeneity of this area is very much still very present in a number of aspects.
Thank you so much, John. Yeah, this is a big moment for us. Thank you for sharing the history of the neighborhood that we're in. And before we draw the plaque, we have one more very important speaker to say a few words, because this is a big moment for the ANZA Club. And so, we have our very own president, Colleen Arndt. Come on up.
Hi everyone, thank you for being here tonight. For those of you who don't know me, I am Colleen Arndt. I am the current president of the board of directors. I've been on the board since 2018, first starting out as a director and then stepping into the role of president in 2019. And I'll also just speak on behalf of our GM here, Nahani, who's lost her voice, so she cannot say anything. So Nahani stepped into the GM role back in 2018, so just about the same time as myself coming onto the board. We were first both introduced to the ANZA Club back in 2008, actually, through our head bartender, John Barabash, who's standing right beside her. And at the time, we were both part of this DJ collective called Soundproof, and we started out by becoming one of the Open Decks hosts, the monthly hosts, down in the lounge. And then from that point on, we continued to put on numerous events, actually, in the lounge, and then we moved to doing events up here in the hall. One of the most notable events we did was the much-loved two-room Halloween party that we did annually, and that was co-produced with the ANZA Love crew, and we did that from 2013 all the way to 2019. And then we did a final one in 2022 after the pandemic, after things opened up, actually, after the pandemic. So one thing Nahani and I both have always felt since we came to the ANZA was that this venue doesn't just feel like just a general regular venue. It's actually a place where we felt that it has a sense of community, creativity, and connection. It's where artists, musicians, neighbors, and members can come together to share experiences and build lasting friendships. Myself, along with the board of directors and the staff here, we're all committed to ensuring that the ANZA remains a vibrant hub in the local music scene and a cornerstone of this Mount Pleasant neighborhood. Our aim is to cultivate, support, and foster this space for all to enjoy. So with that being said, I'd like to thank you all for being here tonight. I hope you have a fantastic evening and you enjoy the rest of the festivities and the upcoming performances that we have for you. Thank you.
So we got some special guests to present our plaque. We have, from the VHF board, we have Kathleen Larson and Laura Carey. Let's bring them up.
Thank you so much for everyone joining us here tonight to celebrate the 95th dedication of our Places That Matter plaque here at the ANZA Club. And one of our board of directors, one of my bosses, I was going to just say my boss, Kathleen Larson, is here to reveal the plaque.
All right, so I'm just going to read the text here. Established in 1935, the Australia-New Zealand Association was created to provide a social hub and cultural link for Antipodean immigrants in Vancouver. The association eventually raised enough funds by April 1969 to purchase the property at 3 West 8th Avenue, which was originally built in 1914 as the Mount Pleasant Gospel Hall. The venue has since become a fixture in the neighborhood, with the upstairs hall hosting public and private events, from live music and fundraisers to punk shows and weddings. The downstairs members' lounge offers a welcoming and inclusive environment with a pool table, board games, and dart boards, making it a cozy spot to catch a game or unwind with friends by the fireplace.
Now that you've seen the plaque, you'll be able to recognize them around town. There's many plaques that have been dedicated throughout the city. Unfortunately, some of those plaque programs are now defunct. So anytime you see an oval blue plaque, It is alive and well. It is Places That Matter, and if you just Google Places That Matter, placesthatmatter.ca, you can find out there's actually 125 sites listed on the website right now. And thank you again. We really look forward to seeing you at our next Places That Matter plaque dedication. Thank you very much, Rowan.
We're going to have some amazing live music acts, so stick around for that. Hot dogs are still going, I believe. Beer tastings are still going, I believe. We got history to learn from and a game that's going on for a little while longer. So pick your poison and have a great night. Thank you, friends.
And I could always write them up my arm. Well, if I need the extra space, you motivate me when I'm listless.
So, my friends, we got our next live music act for you. The Stardust Trio emerged from Vancouver's bluegrass and old-time community where musicians gather to learn, share, and play together. An intergenerational experience rooted in listening and making space for others. The ANZA has provided the venue for these weekly sessions since the 90s and continues to be a musical home to their 400 active members. Ladies and gentlemen, Bluegrass Stardust Trio.